Have you ever wished you could just tell your computer what you wanted it to build and it would just, build it? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. AI is completely changing how software is made, and we're going to break down exactly how it works, what the real risks are, and what this all means for the future of programming. It really all starts with this simple, almost magical idea. You can now describe a task, a feature, even an entire application in just plain English, and the AI will generate the actual code to make it happen. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a totally different way of talking to our machines. Okay, the best way to wrap your head around this is to think about building a house. For decades, a programmer's job was kind of like being an architect. You had to draw up every single blueprint, specifying every nail, every wire. But now, with AI, the job is a lot more like telling a really good contractor what you want. You say, I want a 3-bedroom house with huge windows and a modern kitchen. And the AI drafts those blueprints for you. And look, this isn't some niche futuristic thing we're talking about. It is here, right now. A recent survey from Stack Overflow found that over 70% of professional developers are already using AI tools like this in their day-to-day work. So yeah, this isn't some trend on the horizon, it's the new standard. So how in the world does it actually pull this off? I mean, it really feels like the computer understands programming, right? But the reality is, well, it's a lot more about statistics. It's not magic, it's just very, very powerful math. The secret sauce behind all of this is something called next token prediction. See, an AI model chops up all text and code into these little pieces called tokens. And then, based on the string of tokens it's already seen, it just calculates the probability of what the very next token should be. It's actually a pretty simple loop that's happening thousands of times a second. Your prompt gets broken into tokens. The AI runs the numbers on every possible token that could come next. It picks the most statistically likely one, adds it to the end, and then does the whole thing all over again. It's literally building code one tiny, statistically guided piece at a time. So what this all boils down to is that it's basically a hyper-advanced autocomplete. Like the one on your phone. But instead of being trained on your text messages, this thing has been trained on a massive chunk of all the public code ever put on the internet. That's how it's able to spot these incredibly complex patterns. And this is the key. As tech leader Ryan Talmadge put it, it is not reasoning. It is generating what it thinks is most likely based on the training data. The AI doesn't actually know why a line of code works. It just knows that statistically, it's the piece that almost always comes next. And that distinction, it's everything. And that right there, that brings us to the biggest problem with AI code generation. That massive pile of training data is what makes it so powerful, but it's also its Achilles heel. The old saying in programming, garbage in, garbage out, has never been more true. I mean, the scale we're talking about here is just immense. These models are trained on data sets like the Stack, which has over 3 terabytes of source code from public places like GitHub. That is a truly mind-boggling amount of information for the AI to learn from. But here's the catch. The AI doesn't pick and choose. It learns from absolutely everything in that data set. The good, the bad, and yes, the ugly. It learns from brilliant, secure, super efficient code, but it also learns from buggy, outdated, and totally insecure code because it's all mixed in together. And because of that, the AI often spits out code with some pretty common security flaws. It might write code that forgets to check if a user is trying to input something malicious. It might suggest using old software libraries that have well-known security holes. Sometimes it'll even just hallucinate and tell you to install a software package that doesn't even exist, which is a perfect backdoor for hackers. And this isn't just some theoretical what if. As David Locke from CodeRabbit points out, these tools introduce predictable, measurable weaknesses. These are known risks that companies have to actively fight against. So all that speed and convenience from the AI, it definitely comes at a price. So where does this leave the actual humans who write code for a living? Well, it means their job is changing, big time. The focus is shifting away from writing every single line from scratch and moving towards supervising, editing, and fact-checking the AI. This is a great way to think about it. The AI is your incredibly fast drafting assistant. It can give you a first draft of a script or a function in just a few seconds. But it's not the engineer. It doesn't actually understand the business goal or the security rules or why you choose one design over another. You can really see how much the job is shifting. The main task is going from writing line by line to thinking about the big picture architecture. The first step isn't writing all that boring setup code anymore. It's just describing your goal. And quality control is becoming less about hunting for your own typos and more about carefully checking what the AI suggests. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important takeaway from all of this. You still need an expert to check the work. But AI makes mistakes in code, so you still need someone to check the work. The AI can draft the blueprints, but you absolutely need an experienced architect to make sure the foundation is solid. Human expertise just became more important, not less. So no, the role of the programmer isn't disappearing, but it is going through this massive evolution. This is genuinely changing what it means to be a programmer. This new partnership between a human and an AI is going to let us build things faster than ever before. The big question we're left with is, as we start handing the keyboard over to our AI assistants, what kind of future are we going to decide to build?